What's up, guys? Welcome to Voicey here. This is your host that's curious what your favorite music is, band, song, whatever you want to list. Tell me. Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady with a couple bonuses from r/Today I Fudged Down. Or, sorry, I messed that up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story's called, I'm Not a Waiter, I'm a Cop. This is not the typical story that normally ends up here, mainly because, unfortunately, I was the lady in the story, and it had a lighthearted ending. But I figured I would share it because of how funny and embarrassing it is. I currently work as a head waitress at a popular banquet facility that can host up to 2,000 people. Unfortunately, as parties that size only usually happen a few times a year, the venue doesn't employ enough staff to fit that number. Instead, it hires out from a temp agency, and we have workers that come in and help us serve the big parties. On those nights, I would have to train sometimes up to 15 new people on the spot to work that night. This was one of those occasions. The party we were serving was for a local police force a few counties over. Of course, that meant most of those attending were officers in regular dress clothes. The employee uniform for the venue consisted of a black shirt, black dress pants, and a gold tie. The temp employees had the exact uniform with one difference. They had black ties. This would be the reason for all the confusion. Part of the food service includes family-style soup, which means a large pot of soup with a ladle is placed on each table and the guests help themselves. We then replace them when they get empty. Now, replacing soup pots is a two-person job as you need someone to hold the near-empty pot while you put the full one on the table. It's hard to explain without having a visual in front of me. Regardless, you need two people or else you have a high risk of spilling everything and getting burned. I was about to replace one of these pots when I see a gentleman wearing black dress clothes and a black tie standing next to one of my tables. Thinking he's one of my temps and being my socially awkward, apologetically polite self, in this case would save me, I call to him, I'm sorry, could you just hold this for me for a second? He smiles widely and happily says, sure, and takes the pot. It takes me a total of 3 seconds to replace it with a full one, and when I turn back to him, I take the empty pot back and begin to thank him when I realize a barely noticeable dark gray decorative pattern in his dress shirt. I crap my pants and realize my mistake. Thank you Oh, crap, you're not one of my guys. He bursts out laughing, as does his table and several tables around us. I cover my face in embarrassment, and he pulls me in for a hug and tells me to not worry about it. Once my embarrassment settles, we laugh for another minute, and for the rest of the night, that table and the three in my section surrounding it would tease me via reminding me that they don't work there whenever I approach their tables. All in all, I got a good tip, and it was a good night. Okay, that was incredibly wholesome. Holy crap. The dude hugging her, that was what put it over the top for me. That right there is very similar to the majority of the police officers I've met in my life. There's a lot of hostility and, tension between police officers and civilians, and whilst in some cases it's very understandable because sometimes, some bad person gets onto the police force and does a bad thing, and suddenly now every police officer is a bad person, and it sucks. It sucks. A few bad apples spoil the bunch, or however that saying goes. This story's called, I Work Here, Not There. So I work at a distribution/call center for an eyeglass company. We have stores all over the USA where you can buy glasses. We have just one factory/call center for all of the stores. There is a factory part of our building where the glasses are made, and a separate call center part where I work. Friday the 13th. Yup, crazy. I pick up a call. Hello, thank you for calling store name customer care. How may I assist you?
This is Patient. I'm a patient of yours and I got a freaking bone to pick with you.
At this point, I am actually allowed to hang up the phone. Our boss is very specific that we do not ever have to take abuse or threats from any caller in any way. Regardless, I thought maybe he was just having a bad day, and I honestly thought I could help. Trying to be nice, I say, Sir, I'd be more than happy to assist you. How may I be of service?
You made my glasses and the lenses are filthy. I can't see a thing. I picked them up from your store and...
City in a completely different state.
I want them clean. You have to clean them.
The stores are supposed to do a final inspection and clean the glasses before letting the customer leave with them, but mistakes happen. Usually it's not a big deal. I'm sure if you return to the store, they would be happy to clean them. You can also purchase materials to clean them yourself at any of our locations or at a retail store.
No, you have to do it. I'm not buying a goddamn thing. You made them. You have to clean them.
Me, thinking I should have hung up. Sir, I don't even live in state he's in. Our call center is in state I'm in. I couldn't possibly clean your glasses, and I did not make them. I only work the call desk.
Bull honky, you made these. I saw you yesterday when I picked them up.
Not bloody possible.
So you better clean them.
Finally losing my patience, I say, I most certainly will not. I don't live in his state. Furthermore, I am not obligated to assist you after you cussed at me. I did get a bit loud towards the end, which doesn't happen often. My coworker kept giving me a worried glance, so I must have sounded angry.
No, you listen.
I hung up. As far as I know, he didn't call back, but this was towards the end of my shift, so I'm hoping the next shift didn't have to deal with him. Guess I'll find out Monday. Oh, I've definitely snapped at, would-be customers because they were being jerks. Actually, I've snapped at customers too. But my customer service is impeccable, so they end up always being, pretty happy towards the end. But that's just because, like I said, I'm a god. I'm kidding. This story's called A Funny Moment at the World of Wally. Hello all you happy candy cane-fueled Christmas shoppers. My sad, embarrassing but funny tale of woe takes place in what we locals love to call Wally World. As I have said before in previous posts, I live in a small town where literally the only places to shop are 2 hardware stores, 2 drugstores, a Dollarama, and you guessed it, Wally World. Naturally, since our shopping choices sucketh much and the city is a pain in the ass to get to, I do all my holiday shopping online. Great for me, bad for local businesses. What you gonna do, right? This year, 2 of my gifts for certain family members are necklaces I ordered from that wonderful shopping site known for its love of smiling boxes from the rainforest. Unfortunately, they did not come in little jewel boxes, so I needed to find a couple so they could be, wrapped nice. Thus, I ventured forth into the big blue box crammed with shoppers high on coffee and french fries from the Golden Arches. I had my carts and my list and actually made it all the way through with no problems. Until I got to the jewelry department. I walked up expecting to see the usual desk and counter with assorted shiny objects. No desk, no counter, just sad rows of cheap costume earrings and necklaces that appeal to the under 12 crowd. So I am looking around in dismay. All I wanted was 2 small boxes. When a woman with a badge clipped to her shirt, the dreaded badge, spoke up from her position at the shelf near the floor. Her name is Sweet Lady, and she says, "Do you need help finding something, honey?" "Oh, do you have any little necklace boxes?" "Oh, I don't actually work here. I'm just a vendor, so I have no idea." "Oh, I saw your badge and thought, but you must get that all the time, huh?" "Honey, you have no idea." I roll. Have you ever been on Reddit? No. Why? Okay, so there's a sub there called IDontWorkHereLady, and some of the stories are an absolute hoot. There are more? I so have to check that out. Meanwhile, I bet you can find tiny boxes at the Dollarama. We wished each other a Merry Christmas, and I clutched my cart and ventured back into the swarm of overexcited shoppers. So, nice lady, if you found us, and you read this, welcome to IDontWorkHereLady, and thank you for your help even though you didn't work there. Well, that was really wholesome. That guy was nice, that lady was nice. That was a good story. Thank you for posting this and introducing someone who might have lots of good stories under their belt. This story is called, Today I Fudged Up by Becoming the Dumbest Criminal Ever. So I'm sick and I attempted to make my life easy by trying out Walmart grocery pickup. I picked out my groceries online, put in my personal and payment info, selected a time to pick up, then spent the day congratulating myself on being such a smart and sophisticated human. That is, until I went, with my preschooler, to pick up our groceries at the appointed time. and walked headfirst into a sting operation conducted jointly by the Walmart staff and the local police. After confirming my name and that I was indeed there to pick up my groceries, the Walmart pickup staff inexplicably scurried away from me with my loot. It was then that an officer of the law appeared to inform me that I was being detained on suspicion of credit card theft, as the groceries were purchased with a stolen card. I panicked. My brain began the downward spiral of questions. How could I have entered the wrong credit card information? A lot of the personal info did auto-populate. Did the payment info? But I entered the security code on the back of the card. So did I fail to notice that it was entirely someone else's card? And how did I happen to get a hold of someone else's card, and who will believe this was an innocent mishap? Certainly, the cops and the Walmart staff members have seen their share of thieves committing hilariously stupid errors that led to comical arrests. Maybe that's why they never hesitated to believe that I was the world's dumbest criminal, who would use a stolen card to buy $50 worth of pantry essentials, enter their own contact information, and schedule a time in advance to be picked up by the fuzz. No one believed me, not the Walmart employees who were all patting themselves on the back for gloriously catching their very own Florida man, not the police who were warning me not to try to make a run for it, and not my 3-year-old who was now telling the officers that I was very sorry for stealing and that I would never ever do it again. It was an uphill battle proving my innocence, even after I presented the actual credit card with my name on it and my driver's license with my name and photo. Vindication eluded me. Eventually, top-notch detective work revealed that the card was mine, but the email address attached to the order belonged to someone else. You see, the only other time I had used this card to make an online purchase, I had purchased an item for my mother-in-law and attached her email for tracking purposes. So today, when she got an email saying that her Walmart order was ready for pickup, she naturally called in the cavalry. So, if you're still with me, yikes. The local police department and the employees of Walmart had a good laugh thinking that I used a stolen card online, then entered my name and home address, and then went to the trouble of sending a confirmation email to my victim's email address to alert them of when and where I would commit my scheduled theft. Okay, so obviously I made a stupid mistake, but I'm not at that level of stupid. Okay, that little kid. That's what stuck with me the most. The little kid being like, my daddy didn't mean to steal, he'll never... That's adorable, dude. I remember one time my dad got pulled over when I was around that age. I don't know how I remember this, but he was gone for a long time. It could have just been my, little kid perception of time where everything felt forever. But I was in the car and my dad had to step out of the vehicle and go to the police car with the police officer, and I was like, oh no, is he gonna die? Is my dad gonna get shot or something? I don't know, it was an irrational kid fear. But yeah, that little kid, he didn't just cry like I would have. This story's called Today I Fudged Up by Panicking in an Emergency Room. So, this F-up happened about 6 months ago when me and my boyfriend were backpacking through a country that isn't known for its hospitals or human rights for that matter. We were on a very tight budget as I was due to be paid on the following Monday, and we were living off of what was left in boyfriend's account after 2 weeks of adventure. I took ill very rapidly one day when we were going to get some lunch. It was over 30 degrees Celsius, and I was sat outdoors with both my boyfriend's hoodie and my coat on in a cold sweat. We typed the word hotel into Google Maps and literally went to the nearest hotel there was and got a room. Flash forward 8 hours, and my fever is not going down after taking painkillers, and a few more extreme symptoms that I shan't mention for dignity. We need to get to a hospital, but we are aware of our lack of money, especially after paying for the room. So we decide to go to the local public hospital that is free for citizens of said country. The waiting room is just inside the only door into and out of the hospital. It is filled with people and all of the children have a terrible stomach bug. There is literally splatters of vomit and even trails of blood from the trauma patients. We were seen by the doctor who let me know I had a nasty parasite and prescribed a series of antibiotic injections, which, as I am a baby with needles, also getting scared by the drama in the waiting area had me on high alert. I looked at my boyfriend in an anxious sweat and said I would rather go to a private hospital for treatment even if it means asking my parents for a loan until Monday. Important for F-up number 2. Just as he agreed, the nurse opens the curtain in front of the waiting area and tells me I'm next. I, not wanting to be rude, go into the room with her, my boyfriend, and translator lady. The room is just a curtained area in front of the seating area. I lie face down on the bed and prepare my buttocks for its fate. The nurse seems mad that I'm in the public hospital to begin with, which is understandable because of, well, the privilege of English-speaking people. This is where the F-up happened. Nurse is clearing up the workstation from the previous occupant of the room with her gloves on and proceeds to take out the needle with the same gloves. In an anxious panic, I sit up from the bed and point at her gloves, asking her to change them before she opens the sterilized packet. This nurse gets mad. She made a grunt, then smiled insincerely at my rudeness of telling her how to do her job, accidentally. I lie back down and the nurse changes her gloves and prepares to inject me. The nurse notes my disregard for her years of training and experience and brought that syringe down with such a mighty force it managed to stop time. I literally yelped. My boyfriend winced. He later stated that he would be surprised if my pelvis didn't get scraped. Our translator giggled her ass off. Really lovely lady. I'm glad she got a kick out of it, honestly. Now, I want you to think of that scene in Pulp Fiction where Uma Thurman overdosed on heroin and gets violently stabbed in the chest with adrenaline. Yep, the nurse made a satisfactory noise and I got up from the bed shaking. I couldn't sit or even lie down on that ass cheek for about a week. I had to have the rest of my 6 injections in the other butt cheek. All were a walk in the park compared to numero uno. F-up number 2 was that afterwards we found out we would have been charged the exact same fee if we were to have gone to a private hospital in the first place. Third world country hospitals. Yeah, I can imagine that being kind of unnerving, being the pampered American that I am. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.